All right, I'm super excited to be with you. Thanks for taking a minute to talk about this really important topic of making sure that you are doing everything that you can for your critical employees, your frontline employees, the folks who are making your business go, and more often than not, the folks that need the most help, particularly when it comes to money and finances. So I'm going to keep this under 30 minutes and let's get started. Once it happened that a traveler was traveling along as travelers do, and she came upon a work site. And at this work site, there were 3 stonecutters working away. She was curious as to what they were doing. So she approached the first stonecutter and she said, "Excuse me, can I ask you what you're doing?" The man looked up at her angrily, said, "What does it look like I'm doing? Cutting these stupid rocks. I've got the worst job in the entire country. My hands hurt, my head hurts, my back hurts, everything hurts." She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your trouble. I hope that things turn around and start looking up for you." She moved her way on to the next stonecutter. She said, "Excuse me, can I ask you what you're doing?" He looked up at her with this very focused and determined look in his eye. He said, "I'm working to become the best stonecutter in the entire country." She said, "Well, that is a worthwhile goal. I hope that you achieve it." She moved on to the third stonecutter, and she about halfway there, she thought she heard him whistling a happy tune. And sure enough, she got close enough. That's exactly what he was doing. He was whistling a happy tune. She said, "Excuse me, can I ask you what you're doing?" He looked up with this gleam in his eye. He said, "I'm building a cathedral." So 3 men doing essentially the same thing, but having a completely different experience. The lesson, of course, being how you look at something makes all the difference. How we look at our personal finances makes all the difference. How we look at the work that we're doing makes all the difference. And how you look at how you help your critical employees, your frontline employees, become successful and locked in and happy and all those things makes all the difference. I think along with that, not only how you look at something makes all the difference, how we talk about something also makes all the difference. And I know that you are an organization who puts values first. You're thinking about how can we position our people for success? How can we position our company for success? And so you know that pardon me, that simply posting values on the wall or the website, but never talking about them ever again is not going to get you where you want to go. The more you can be talking about your mission, your values, where the company is going, the impact that you're having, the role that your critical employees play in the success and the fulfillment of that mission, that's what it's all about. If you could incorporate talking about mission and vision and values during the recruitment process, during the onboarding process, during monthly meetings, during communication, the more you can give people that purpose-driven life that we all want and we all search for, that's where the magic happens. I think that that's where a big opportunity here is. To not only change the way you're thinking about and looking at things, but also how you're talking about, how you're communicating, and how you're leading through all of those things as well. So it's such an important thing. Perhaps you've had this experience. I know that we all have had this experience, either with our employees or with our kids or with our friends or the organization that we're a part of. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. And there are fewer things more frustrating or maddening than working hard, investing money and resources and all these things in your people, only to have them not even use it. So certainly cognizant of that. A lot of the work that I do is designed to help avoid the process of trying to drag the horse to water and drink the water, drink the water. That's not constructive for anybody. The horse doesn't like it. You don't like it. Let's talk about problems. Let's talk about problems. As if you don't have enough problems as it is. We have a lot of problems. Reality is that over 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Fewer, like 50% of us have less than $500 saved in case of an emergency. If we did have an emergency, we'd have to use credit cards or turn to family. We're just not saving enough money. So it is a legitimate problem. There's no 2 ways about that. Also, the problem, exacerbating the problem, the even bigger problem is that your critical employees, your frontline employees, this hits them even harder. I don't need to tell you about them living paycheck to paycheck, them not having enough money to go around because While all of us experience that, this is an even bigger problem for these folks, and even more of a reason to be focusing and spending time on this, which you are, and I'm super grateful because of that. Really quickly about me, I've been a financial professional for over 20 years, going on 25, I think. I'm honored to be named to Investopedia's list of the top 100 financial advisors in the United States. Many years running, I own and operate an independent financial advisory firm. I'm the president of Money Alignment Academy, a financial wellness platform. I do a daily podcast called Lifeblood. I'm an author. I'm also a dad and a husband. So it's a little bit about me. That's enough about me. We want happy, healthy, fully engaged employees. I think we could all agree on that. The more committed and engaged employees are, the better their lives are, the better our companies operate. That is what we want. There's this thing called the behavior gap. It simply is this. There is a gap between what I intellectually know and what I actually do. Diet and exercise, the big behavior gap there. Personal finance, there is a big behavior gap there. In terms of critical employees, frontline employees, the challenge is harder because a lot of folks do not have that financial literacy background. They don't know that I should spend more money than I'm earning. They don't know about budgeting. They don't know about investing. They don't understand necessarily cash flow. A lot of these folks don't even bank somewhere. So it's a challenge of educating and then putting the education into practice. So we need to teach people about how money works and then actually how to develop positive habits, break bad habits, and get closer to closing that actual behavior gap. And that's a lot about what my work is designed to do. First principles. This is getting down to what's actually true, stripping everything away. What is fundamental? What is fundamentally true? Every time Elon Musk decides that he's going to disrupt an entire industry or create a new industry, instead of just looking at conventional knowledge and what's always been done, we do things this way because it's the way we've always done them. And you know that that's not the way to do it. But that is all too often the way that we do things. And that's all too often the way that we deliver financial stuff and the way that we deliver financial literacy and financial training. I think it's flawed. So we need to strip back and say, okay, what is fundamentally true here? What are the first principles of personal finance? What do we need to be teaching? And then let's question and explore how to be delivering this in a way that's actually going to work. Instead of just checking a box and going through the motions, that's not the work I'm interested in doing. And I know it's not the work that you're interested in doing either. So why do so many programs fail? Why do so many financial initiatives fall flat? I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the fundamentals of a good program. I want to talk about, I think, such a key theory, the self-determination theory. Powerful. I think you're really going to like it. And then how to put self-determination theory to put to work in your organization. Such key things. So let's talk about why programs fail. Too often, we have way too many tactics. We're going to do this. And this is a very, very human thing, right? Instead of addressing the root cause of problems, we want to throw pills at it. We want to throw fixes, hacks, magic bullets, magic wands, silver bullets. You get the idea. And it's not so much that we need more tactics or more things. We're addressing too many symptoms and not getting to the root cause of the problem. We need a strategy. Too many start and stops. Start one thing, we stop. Think about dieting. You know, oh, I'm going to try this way. Okay, it didn't work. It's not sustainable. We're not focused on strategy. We're not really focused on those first principles, what we really want. Oftentimes then there's no cohesiveness to it. It's just going from one thing to another. It's not working. It's not an integrated approach. We're not looking at the other benefits or the other initiatives that we're trying to put in place for helping our employees to get to where they want to go. And just by the very nature of it, it's going to be short term. If we're just constantly starting and stopping, we're never going to have a very cohesive or long-term view. Table stakes. What is required for any initiative like this to work? That you're watching this tells me that we don't need to talk about this, but you have to really care about your people. Doesn't every organization? No, not every organization does. So you have to care about your people. You have to have a mission. You have to have a vision for where your organization is going. The mission, the vision, is for you as the entrepreneur or the leader in your organization. It's for your employees so they know why it is that they're doing what they're doing. You don't want them to just have a job. You want them to feel like the third stonecutter. They're building a cathedral. We're fulfilling our mission. This is the problem that we're solving. This is the impact we're having. So we need to have that. We need to be able to articulate it to our people. We need to have a program. We need to be communicating these things. Those are the table stakes if this is going to work. So I just got done telling you about how there's no magic bullet or quick fix. Self-determination theory, I think, is a key that unlocks a lot of this. Doesn't mean it's just all of a sudden it works. It will take effort. It will take doing. And you're aware that anything worth having, anything worth doing will require effort. It will take an investment of your time and your attention, resources. Self-determination theory, it is the theory, the research, the process for helping to create self-managers. I'm confident that that's what we want. We want self-starters. We want self-managers. That's what our top performers are. You know, the high achievers. You for sure are a self-manager. You are a self-starter. You know what your job is and you do it. You don't need somebody holding your hand. We want to get all of our people, critical employees, frontline people, managers, everybody, as close to that as we possibly can. So that's the whole incremental thing. It could take time, but it's time worth spent. That is what this is designed to do. So 3 main areas that we're going to focus on. The first is competence. That's one of the first components to self-determination theory is competence. People need to know how to do the work that they're doing. They need to feel like they're getting better at it. They need to feel like they're achieving mastery. Do I know what my job is? Do I know how to do it? Is there room for progress? I think that is one of the things that gives us self-worth, that gives us purpose, that makes us feel like we have a fulfilling life, is that I'm good at what I do. If I can never figure this thing out, if I don't feel like I'm good at it, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to keep doing it. Okay? So competence is such a big deal. Autonomy, that's the next thing. So do I have freedom in how I get my work done? This may or may not be possible, depending on the role, depending on the task, depending on the job, but in an ideal world, I will have freedom in figuring out how to get my job done. Might not necessarily be with my time, maybe it is, but where can you help to give your people more autonomy, more control over how they are doing their job? This is such an empowering thing. You give somebody a great reputation to live up to. I trust that you know what you're doing. I trust, I'm confident you're getting the job done. Do it the way you think is the best way to get it done. They're out there doing it. Empower them to do that. And then relatedness. We all want to be part of something. Community is the glue that makes everything worthwhile. It's the relationships we have. People leave not because they like that they don't like their work. It's because they don't like their manager. They don't like the person they report to. We've all had that experience. It's awful. So I want to feel like I'm part of something. And it's nurturing and fostering that. It's the way you're communicating that I've been talking about throughout this. It's giving people that great reputation to live up to. It's giving them and showing them the whole stonecutter thing. How you look at something makes all the difference, and feel like I'm a part of something that's bigger than I am, and the impact that we're having, the work that I'm doing is of value. Do I have a support community? Do we have work culture? Do I have an office culture? These are really, really, really important things that your people want. So how do we put together a successful program? Well, we have to have a strategy. we have to utilize tactics. We have to actually implement the thing, and then we need to evaluate whether or not it's actually working. So let's talk about if our desired outcome is increased financial wellness. That's what we're working on. So the strategy is to create an environment and provide resources so employees can learn to thrive financially. That's what we're going to do. Tactics: can offer a 401k plan when the time is right. Can offer group learning experiential opportunities. So there's the relatedness piece. Are there opportunities for us, for you as a company, to be presenting learning, training opportunities? Okay. Are there, just an example from an autonomy standpoint, if you can offer on-demand financial literacy courses or training programs, blogs, podcasts, YouTube videos. We don't need to spend a ton of money on this. It's not necessary. There's so many free resources that are available. It's just a matter of figuring out, okay, how can I try and hit these high points of that self-determination theory talks about. And then from a competence standpoint, you can do something like offering financial coaching if that's of interest. And this is, I mean, I could come up with a list of hundreds of different tactics here. It's just the idea of helping you to figure out what is going to make sense for us right now, into the future, and coming up with a cohesive way to do it. So implementing the thing. Need to be somebody who is the champion of this program. Because if we just put, like, I give you the greatest guitar in the world, but if you didn't know how to play it, if you didn't practice, then it wouldn't matter. It would just sit in the corner, which we probably all have a guitar or a musical instrument or something that we had the best of intentions to learn how to do. We know that's something we want to do, but we're not actually implementing it. We're not actually making it happen. So somebody's got to be in charge. Somebody's got to be driving this initiative, have a champion within the organization. And I really encourage you to incorporate or integrate this at as many different levels of the organization as possible. Utilize as many different mediums as you possibly can. We have video, we have audio, we love podcasts, written messages, in person, one-on-one, group learning, as many different things as you possibly can. If you don't currently have some kind of a wellness week, this could be a great way to introduce lots of different initiatives. If it's healthy eating, if it's exercise, if it's mindfulness and mental health, there's a never-ending number of things that you can be doing to help support your organization. My urging is simply that we're being mindful and thinking about it. So having a wellness week is a way to incorporate all these things and even kick everything off. Food for thought for you. And then we need to evaluate it. How is everything working? Okay. Take the long view. Just because we're not getting immediate results in the first week or even the first quarter, even the first year, it doesn't mean that it's not working. I think that from a personal finance standpoint, particularly when we're talking about your critical employees, a long-term view is going to be required. Consistency, sustainability is going to be required. You continue offering. Think about it like this. If you had, 50 people in your organization, if you got 5% a year from financially at risk to financially stable, well, that's 5 people. And then you did that next year. So you got 5 more. And then 5 more. And then you create this virtuous cycle. So that would be my advice on how to think about what a successful program is. It's not that all of a sudden our problems are gone. It's that we're making incremental change and that we're helping certain numbers of our people to become financially successful. But certainly you can measure engagement. Are people actually showing up to this? How can we increase that? Are they actually attending this sort of sessions? If you have some kind of a learning management system, you can view whether or not people are taking courses. And you can always just ask. You do surveys and say, hey, how's this working? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? Get feedback. If you're curious what your people are thinking, you can always just ask them. So how do I get started? It's a lot. Well, to begin. It's not a game of perfect. There's not a perfect way to do this. The first step in any challenging thing, solving any challenging problem, is just to get started with it. So I, of course, would love to help you to do that. And I know that because you're watching this and you're considering financial wellness, which is Well, it's kind of on the border between a nice to have and a have to have these days. Employees are really asking for help and benefits here. But I know that if you walk past a pond and you saw somebody drowning, that you would absolutely help them. Well, there are people within your organization who are figuratively drowning. They're financially drowning. They're having a really hard time keeping their head above water. And you are in a position to help, which is what you're doing here. You're interested in learning about how you can do that. And I'm interested in helping you to do that. And like everything in life, it's time sensitive. The longer we wait to pursue our goals, the harder they become to reach. Time is now. You're the person that can do it. You're capable of doing this. So I'd welcome the opportunity to have a chat with you. If that's of interest, you could certainly DIY all this. The resources are available on the internet. And there's a million partners that are available. So check out moneyalignmentacademy.com. It's got courses and resources and written content and videos and everything that I've been talking about. Shoot me an email. Let's set up a time to talk. George@moneyalignmentacademy.com. And super grateful for your time and attention, and hope to speak with you soon.